3 Count Thursday is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app, that's arenaeats.app, for the ultimate fan experience. At your favorite sports venue, Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order? Now, this is something I don't even remember because this was a couple weeks ago that I don't remember like where the topic originated from, and I think I might have just have seen people talking about whether something you had to see it or I missed the start of Dynamite. Do I need to go back? I missed Raw. Do I have to go back and watch it? Something like that. And it kind of like made me think like, and I almost tweeted it and then I kind of forgot to, but I wanted to get to the topic one of these weeks. And it's the notion of like, is wrestling must see? And because like right now, obviously there's tons of content to get to. I mean, even if you're just looking at, kind of the big four or the big three, you have Raw, SmackDown, NXT UK, you have AEW, you have Impact, Ring of Honor sprinkled in there, MLW, you have New Japan stuff. Like there's so much content, new content now, that it's like what exactly is or isn't must see? Is any of it must see? But the other part of the question and the thought I had, like, was anything, and I think you and I were talking about this off air before one of our Tuesday shows, Ryan, has anything ever been must see? Like, we go back to like when, and maybe it's just depending where you're at in your life, because like when Raw and the Monday Night Wars and that sort of stuff, it felt like it was must see. However, we were in a time in our life where we were in junior high, we were in high school, and like you watched Raw on Monday, you went and you talked to your friends about it the next day, and if you missed it, you were going to look like the goober that didn't watch wrestling the night before. So like, and at that point in our life, we didn't have a whole lot else going on, where now we have, we have jobs, we have kids, we have families, we have other we have other things we have to get to. Like sometimes it's tax season. Sometimes, our football team's playing Monday Night Football. Sometimes, a friend from work wants to go out and get drinks. Like there's just other things that we do. So like, is wrestling only, was it ever actually must see, or was it just a period of time where that was kind of the most important thing that we had going for us? So does anybody want to give thoughts to this to kick us off?
I guess
I'll give.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Tim.
I guess it depends on like the definition of must see. Like to me, there's even like few things that are must see. Like I would say the Super Bowl, for the most part, is must see, because it's even people who don't watch football will watch the Super Bowl. So, but for us, like, what's must see for wrestling fans? That's tough. It's a real tough question.
Yeah.
I would say the only thing that for me is must see is the Royal Rumble.
I mean, for me, I watch all of the pay-per-views, but like, I feel like at least Rumble, Mania, SummerSlam, I would consider like must see. I've made sure that I've seen All In / All Out every year. I watch every pay-per-view, but there's been some, and like I watch all the takeovers, but there's been some at times that I've missed live to air, especially takeovers. But I've missed some pay-per-views from time to time, and I catch up on them, so I watch them. But like, there was a point where we were doing this show where it's like, okay, well, I gotta watch Raw, gotta watch SmackDown, gotta watch NXT, and then like when AEW got in the mix, it's like, all right, well, I gotta watch that. And it just kind of became overwhelming.
Really, all you had to do was go to fast food joints, and you'd have been able to bullshit yourself through the 2-hour show here. That's all you need.
but I don't really see any show as must see. I mean, there's been times over the past month and a half where I've gone multiple weeks without seeing any of Raw, SmackDown, NXT, or AEW. I know, it's surprising, isn't it? Because it really isn't. I mean, even if you only tune in for the pay-per-views, they're going to tell you what you need to know going into each match. So it's like I watched. I've used it as a distraction during this last year, but I don't necessarily think that it's must see every week.
I mean, especially not in the time of DVR and, with it being on YouTube, Hulu, where you can just catch the highlights of it. I mean, that makes it a lot easier to just catch up on Raw, SmackDown. So there's not really many nights where I'm like, oh, I have to watch Raw, NXT, SmackDown. Like you said, even with some of the pay-per-views, I watch them all, but if something else bigger happened to be on, and that's hasn't been the case, I think the only things that come on Sundays that I absolutely have to watch otherwise would be the Super Bowl and the Oscars. And I don't think it's ever been an issue where those things are going on at the same time, and it's probably scheduled as such. But I mean, aside from Rumble, SummerSlam, WrestleMania, if I don't see Elimination Chamber and I have to catch it the next day, I'm not disappointed like I was. I mean, I remember taping Raw just in case my mom was like, go to bed at like 10 o'clock so I could watch the last hour before breakfast the next day before school. So, I mean, those days are long gone, I think.
I can remember a full-on, like, meltdown I had when, like, in high school, like, in the ninth grade, something like that. Like, my parents had a meeting at, like, church. Maybe it was in junior high. It was like my parents had a meeting at church or something on a Monday night, and I missed, like, the first 20 minutes of Raw. And I remember being so pissed that I had missed because, like, if you're gonna catch parts of Monday Night Raw, you need to catch the opening segment and the closing segment. And I freaking missed the damn thing. Of course they ran it back on replay, but, like, I just remember, like, to this day I can remember being so pissed at my parents when I'm sure the meeting went late and they had no control over it because we know how meetings go. But, like, I remember being so pissed as a kid. Like, why the hell? It's Monday night. I want to be in front of my TV at 8 o'clock. And I just remember, but it's certainly not like that anymore. Three Count Thursday is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app. That's arenaeats.app for the ultimate fan experience. At your favorite sports venue, Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order?
No, I think Matt hit the nail on the head with streaming services. Even the idea of, do I have to go back and watch the beginning of Raw? Well, you might as well, because you probably have it DVR'd, and then you just skip through the first two sets of commercials and you're back live if you were actually concerned about what happened. So there's not even a question anymore. Like, Raw just records every week. Do I watch it every week? Parts of it, probably. I don't think I've caught a whole Raw in a while, where, like, on a Monday night, I'm like, I need to sit down now and watch it. Even if I miss the whole show, I can always hop on Twitter and see the big spots that, something happened with Alexa Bliss. I need to seek that out. So maybe there's must-see segments, but I don't believe there's must-see shows anymore. And we talked about things like the Super Bowl and the Oscars. If you look back, even in the Monday Night Wars, I think the highest rated segment was like a 6.9, which isn't even that big of a rating compared to things like the Super Bowl and the Oscars.
Right.
So by that definition, it probably never was must see. You said if you don't want to be the guy at the water cooler who doesn't know what he's talking about, you should check it out. But that doesn't make it must see. It makes it situationally must see, but that's all it ever was.
Yeah, WWE does a tremendous job. AEW has gotten a little bit better with it, but like they're within hours of Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and the clips are up on YouTube. So like if you miss the show, you can catch those clips. You can catch those recaps. Like I think they still do the This Week in WWE on the network. So like you can watch that for an hour and it'll tell you the biggest things from the week. A lot of times like on Wednesday nights if I watch Dynamite, I also watch the Chicago shows on Wednesday night. So if I watch one of the wrestling shows on Wednesday, I'll watch the other one the next day, and typically I watch AEW from my DVR because finding that on demand is a pain in the dick. But like NXT goes on Hulu the next morning, and I know it's an hour. There's things that get cut down and cut out, but I get the general gist of what the show needs to tell me. And I've done that with SmackDown too.
I also feel that the network, and you had brought the network up for like the Week in Demand, has really spoiled us in pay-per-views that we probably weren't going to be ordering month in and month out.
Yeah.
So I feel like we've inflated the need to watch pay-per-views, but that does not make them must-see.
Right.
I think another thing that like adds to the fact of like not being must-see is the influence of social media. If you missed it, just follow Twitter from 8 to 11 during a pay-per-view.
True.
There's millions of people who are watching it for you.
Even so, like the WWE account will tweet out, the ending of the match. It'll be a minute-long video.
New and still.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
And if that piques your interest, check it out.
Yeah.
If you're okay just knowing the result. A lot of times I don't faithfully watch Impact Wrestling, but I can tell you like champions from time to time, and that always catches my interest. Ooh, new champion. Ooh, this. So yeah, and then you seek it out, or you watch it on the Twitch or wherever they're broadcasting from anymore.
I think they're on the O network.
Oprah's network?
What the hell is even that?
I think they're on Destination Ecuador. Something like that.
But Mark, what do you think? Has it ever been must see?
It has been must see.
Okay.
Back when they had Hogan join the Outsiders on WCW and form the NWO, then you started to see Ted DiBiase and the 1-2-3 Kid come over. That was must see. Back when Austin and McMahon started, when Austin stunned McMahon each week, that was must see. But yeah, with the all the streaming services and social media, it's definitely not, and it's never going to be what it used to be. As far as shows, like my casual wrestling fan friends, they would ask for to watch WrestleMania or Royal Rumble, but the other pay-per-views almost never. They really don't care about the Survivor Series or Great Balls of Fire or any of these other ones. But it was always Royal Rumble and WrestleMania. But I don't know that they're must see anymore. But they would be closer to the top.
Yeah, I mean, pre WWE Network, friends and I would get Royal Rumble. We would get together for WrestleMania. We'd get together for SummerSlam, and pretty much for everything else, I would be, finding an illegal stream. If I really wanted to, if I really wanted to try to see, Backlash or something like that, then
Yeah, now he didn't literally rake it. He raked my back.
But I didn't pay to see. No Way Out. I didn't pay to see Clash of Champions. I didn't pay to see Extreme Rules. But like since the network, I watch every pay-per-view. It's just it has absolutely changed how we view things. Like, and if the network to ever to go away, and I don't think it ever will, especially when you're getting a $5 billion check from NBC Universal, I wouldn't buy a monthly pay-per-view ever again. Like, I just wouldn't. Like, I struggle to pay, and like, again, spoiled, 100% spoiled with $9.99 a month, soon to be $4.99 a month. Actually, for me, soon to be free because I get Peacock with my Xfinity cable subscription. So, but like when AEW charges $40 for a pay-per-view, I go, is anybody else getting this? Because I know two people can share the login for Fight TV or whatever, and we'll split it. Like, I won't spend $40 for a pay-per-view. I just won't.
Cheaps.
You could probably get it with a super box.
Mark, you can't.
Mark, you can't. You're gonna get us shut down, Mark.
Now, Mark,
allegedly,
as the elder statesman of 3 Count Thursday, would you have ever considered Saturday Night Main Event as a must-see program?
Oh my
I was
gosh.
looking that up.
Yeah.
The highest rating show was 11.6, and that was the Battle Royal that had Hogan and Andre in the Battle Royal leading into WrestleMania 3. At that time, and again, I was what, 87? I was 4 years old, so I don't remember this. I don't remember what happened last week, so that's irrelevant. But was that must see at the time? Like, even outside of wrestling, was that big enough to? 11.6 seems like a really high rating.
Yeah, that was a huge deal. So back then, you had wrestling was on Saturday morning, and then there'd be a show Sunday morning or Sunday at noon. And if you watched NWA, then you had it on the Superstation 605 on Saturday. So have a wrestling show, and some local shows that UWF used to come on Saturday nights locally. The Universal Wrestling Federation, when that was a thing, Mid-South. But I remember at school, like, even the kids that didn't like necessarily watch wrestling, Monday at school, all the boys would be talking about Saturday night's Main Event. And then there's people like, wait a minute, I didn't think they were wrestling fans. But yeah, that was a huge deal. It was always something to look forward to.
And times were much simpler back there in 87.
Oh man, were they ever? It was very simple. That was they were really good. Randy Savage was all over that, and of course Hogan and Ricky Steamboat and the Honky Tonk Man. Yeah, they were, and the good matches were always on. The really good ones were the first and second matches, and then by the end it was because people were falling asleep by one.
Right. It was the Saturday Night Live booking where you put your best sketches at the start, and then after Weekend Update you can go to bed.
Right. Yeah, that's pretty much it too. So you'd have like Coco Beware against Sergeant Slaughter closing the show, or Nikolai Volkov taking on Jim Duggan or something like this.
3 Count Thursday is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app, that's arenaeats.app, for the ultimate fan experience. At your favorite sports venue, Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order?